Welcome, everybody. My name is Paul Warner. Very excited to bring you this research proposal today around critical hope and teacher pedagogy. In particular, I am looking at the type of pedagogy that influences critical hope, and I'm looking at 8th grade students. And I'm also going to be looking at the type of attitudes that teachers have around pedagogy and also their practices. This type of research is something I'm very passionate about, and I'm passionate about it because it's really tangible. It's something that can impact the lives of young people every single day. So this type of research is particularly useful for the teachers and the coaches and the mentors or any type of person who is around students on a day-to-day. And this type of research is also very valuable to teacher preparation programs, school administrators, superintendents, those who can impact what teachers are doing, what they're learning, and ultimately this can change the lives of young people. That is the impetus of all of this, is trying to increase the wellness and hope of young people. The questions for this research project are: what effect do teachers' pedagogical attitudes have on creating and incubating critical hope among their students? And does geography and where students live influence critical hope? So the teacher pedagogy component and then the critical hope component are going to be measured with a couple different surveys. And beyond the pedagogical attitudes, the practice component is going to be measured with a roundtable discussion of 4 different educators, where they are going to be diving in to Duncan Andrade's work around critical hope. So Duncan Andrade's work is one of the backbones of this project, along with, I will discuss earlier, Snyder, and also the work around adverse childhood experiences. That last thing you see on your screen there, the gangstas, wangstas, and rightas, is another framework kind of branching off of the aspects of critical hope. So the gangstas and wangstas actually came out before Duncan Andrade published the tenets of critical hope, but the two were interwoven. And I'm going to be synthesizing all that a lot in my lit review. Additionally, talking about those ACEs and what they do. So those ACEs impact health and hope in a negative way. So the more ACEs someone has, the more likely they would score lower on a hope index. Now, how do we increase the hope index for the kids who are scoring lower? Well, extracurricular programs, for one, have been shown to increase critical hope. Duncan Andrade's work with the Lady Wildcat basketball program, that is a smaller sample, but it's rich in its practice and the results. Getting into Snyder's another backbone of the research and his work around developing a hope scale that we're actually going to be using. So Snyder first developed his hope work around agency and pathways. Agency is, do you have the inner belief that you can do it? And then the pathways is that road open? Do you see an opening for your inner drive to actually push you forward? Wellness coaches are another thing. When we talked about the type of things that can influence critical hope of young people, wellness coaches are also another variable that can increase that. So the 3 big things of this project: ACEs, Duncan Andrade, and Snyder. Those are the 3 backbones. Getting into the methodology, this is going to be a causal comparative study. We're looking at 120 in total students, 60 from a suburban school environment and 60 from an urban school environment, both in the same county of a major city in the western United States. So those 2 surveys I mentioned earlier, the Future Hope Scale, that's going to be measuring critical hope among the students, and then the Pedagogical Hope Scale is going to be measuring teacher pedagogy, in particular, those three tenets of critical hope: the material, the Socratic, and the audacious. So our timeline of events, this is going to be a 12-week process of data collection. In the first week, teachers and students are both surveyed. In week 4 is actually an intervention where the 4 teachers involved in the study are going to be sent Duncan Andrade's article around critical hope, and they're going to read that. And then in week 6, those 4 teachers are going to get together, and we're going to do a roundtable over Zoom where we're going to discuss what they read in the article. And I'm going to have some preset questions, but they're going to be able to take stuff kind of wherever they want to. So it's going to be slightly guided by myself. And then in week 12 is the post-intervention, where we measure hope again among the students, and we also measure the pedagogical hope among the teachers. So we are going to be looking at t-tests to measure the simple effects of the pre and post. So week 1, that's the pre, week 12 is the post, and we're using that for our future scores, which is the childhood hope. We are going to be looking for correlations between the teacher pedagogy of hope and also the future scores of the kids. And we're also going to be testing the 2 different environments for statistical significance. And then the discussion that the teachers had is going to be transcribed. And we are going to be looking for emerging themes, and we're going to be coding them and analyzing them. So an example of an emerging theme could be, one of the teachers articulates strong pedagogy around audacious hope, while another teacher articulates pedagogy around some aspects of false hope. So with the ethical considerations, something to be on the lookout for is illumination of ACEs. So we could find something where a couple students' hope scores are just incomparably low, like scary low. And that is something to be on the lookout for. This could also make some of those students maybe feel worse. The privacy of the student and the teacher participants is all going to be kept confidential. The limitations of this study are basically there are a lot of confounding variables around hope. The teacher pedagogy is only one ingredient in them. The day-to-day lives of what the students do, who they're around, who their parents are, their home lives, their lives outside of school, all influence that hope. So those are things to keep in mind for the study. And then the last aspect is I am not observing what the teachers are doing in their classroom. I am merely getting data on their attitudes, and they are telling me some of their practices in that roundtable discussion. That is it for this study. I'm super excited, and thank you for listening.